Shout what up? You're now tuned into the Break Free Podcast Show. Boy, wicked beat. Blang, blang, blang. Break free. Worldwide. Break free. Worldwide. Break free. Worldwide. Break free. Worldwide.
Yo, welcome to episode
we started
number
already.
38 of the Break Free Podcast. My name is Jeremy. This is Moy. And today the topic is artistic entrepreneurship. And first things first, spell entrepreneurship.
Why you gonna put me on a spot like that?
Go.
Entrepreneur.
Can we check that? Is that right? I don't even know if that's right.
I might have missed a letter, but it's all good.
I think it's important to learn how to spell before you open up a business. So
Can you spell entrepreneur?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Entrepreneurship. So what are the qualities that you think somebody needs to possess before going into their own business and starting their own thing? That's a good first question, I think.
I think the number one thing is you have to love what you do. You gotta. I know you hear it all the time. You gotta be passionate about what you do.
Before anything else.
Before anything else, you have to be passionate about what you're gonna get into. You know, because if you don't love what you do, you're gonna jump into something because you either got inspired by something that just motivated you to get into something really quickly, and then you're gonna get bored of it. You know,
Yeah.
so you have to truly love what you're diving into, and so that's important. You know, so it's like when we started Break Free, or when I started Break Free, I knew that, you know, this is what I wanted to do for a long time, and I've been a part of this community or this culture that I knew it already. So it was already a part of my life, and so it's not like I'm trying to fall in love with something I don't know, you know, so it was already there. It was just a matter of learning the business ethics behind it, and, you know, I'm still learning that, but number one thing is you got to be passionate about what you do.
Yeah, in a sense, you're doubling down on what your strengths are.
Yeah,
You're doubling down on it. You've identified it, and you're going full out with it.
Why would you go any other route? I mean, you have to know what you're good at.
Yeah,
you know?
I've heard it asked to me before. You might have heard it like when people are seeking advice, but like they'll ask, well, what does it take, or how do you do this? What's the first step to take? And I always think I think you're absolutely right. That's the first step to take, and I don't think you can particularly teach somebody how to find that. It's always something that they have to find out themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you put it into another perspective, that's a good way of saying it, and that's identify your strengths. Everyone has their own particular strengths, and behind that, identify your weaknesses too, and work on those weaknesses, but really play up to your strengths. And I think what you could say that what you are strong at is something that you do love, and something that, you know, because you develop that strength because of it's something you've done for all your life. Even if it's not dancing, if it's something else than that, if it's something else artistically or whatever it may be, it's something that you know that you're good at, you know that you can do it for a long time, and you would enjoy doing that, and make that decision, and then the next steps follow after that.
Yeah, and then I would say for the next step is to figure out, you know, your passion and how that can convert to solving a problem, or bringing something unique to someone, or how to create a unique experience with it. I think that would be the next step, you know, because everyone can be passionate about something, but does it truly do something for somebody?
Yeah,
because what the passion or the love does for me may not translate to what it could do for you, you know?
Expand on what you said of solving a problem, because I think when you first introduced to the pre-team, all of us in a meeting like that, I remember a particular meeting where you talked about solving a problem. I think that's a great way to frame it, and it puts things in perspective. So expand on that business-wise.
Yeah, so let's just take Break Free, for example. Like, so for me, you know, how I saw it as a business is that the way I looked at it is as, you know, kids are coming up, their parents are putting them up. They're putting them in different type of extracurricular activities, and sometimes they're being forced into activities that they don't want to do, just because maybe it's something the parent did as a younger teenager or as a kid, and so it brings back memories to them, and so they're kind of being forced into all these different directions. It may not be something that they want to do, and so with Break Free, I wanted to create a unique experience to extracurricular activity using hip hop and using what we know, right? breaking, DJing, MCing, and graffiti art, the elements that we know that we've been a part of for so long, or let's just say that I know, because I started this, kind of with the vision on my own, and then kind of flourished from there. But I felt like I'm able to solve a problem with that, right? Because not every kid wants to play basketball, not every kid wants to do soccer. So if they find a different outlet or a different activity, they might be able to connect and relate differently. And the beauty about what we do is, kind of the creative expression side, right? I don't feel like basketball or any other sport, it does have a creative expression, but not the way hip hop has.
Or to put it simply, there's just kids who might not take to it.
Yeah,
there's a if we identify the problem that we're solving and we put it simply, there's a large group of kids who don't take to basketball or any other mainstream sport, and that leaves them with what is my outlet?
Right.
How do I express myself?
Yeah, and I'll use myself as an example. I remember being a kid, and I played Little League baseball. I played basketball. I played pretty much every sport that you can think of as a kid, and it was fun. I still love playing the sports, but it didn't do what breaking did, right? Because I was a very shy kid. It was hard for me to speak up, but breaking allowed me to speak differently. And I know it sounds very cliche and corny, but at the same time, it's like the honest truth. And some kids are looking for different ways to express themselves. And I truly believe that breaking and other hip-hop art forms were bringing that to young kids, and not even just young kids, but anybody. And so that was kind of the idea behind building a brand or a business around Break Free, because people were teaching it, but they weren't doing it to a level where it can be something that's ongoing and growing for years to come, right? You can teach breaking for 20, 30 years. Any pioneer, anybody can say, "Oh, I've been teaching breaking forever," but has it been structured? Has there been an infrastructure that is a, how do I say it, like a sustainable model that can convert to something long term, right?
You just identified as another problem that we are solving with Break Free.
Sure.
So you identified the first problem with there's a demographic of kids, a group of kids who might not take the mainstream sports, and then the second thing you just said is that within our community there's people who teach breaking, but there's not a way for people to commit. There's not a way for kids to commit and do it long term. So that was another issue, and I bring that up because I think what I've learned is that's a great way to frame it, is you problem solve when you have a business or when you start a business, and you are consistently and constantly finding out new things to solve and finding out new things to implement that answers this question, and that's always ongoing and evolving.
Yeah, a lot of breakers that are out there teaching nowadays, they may be doing it for the sake of it coming as a package, like why I say that is that sometimes when we get hired to travel overseas or to a different state to be a part of something, what happens is, organizers will reach out and be like, "Hey, are you available to judge?" and then teach a workshop. Yeah. So it kind of comes
package deal.
And so
that's a normal
it's a normal package deal. So are we truly passionate about it, or is it just another way for us to make money, right? Yeah. And so sometimes it's part of the package, and sometimes we're teaching it, and I don't mean this in any bad way, but for some people, they may feel this way. I'm not saying we feel this way. It's just an example that some people may just do it because it becomes, it's part of the package. Now, when you get into something like Break Free and you start a school, and and there's a lot of other schools. I'm not saying Break Free is the only one, but there's other schools that are doing it. The people that are getting themselves into that, they know what it comes with. Yeah. They know that this is not short term, this is long term. And when you work with kids, you have to have a different type of patience for kids. Definitely. So it's not just a teaching patience, but you're kind of your spidey senses of a parent or as just a regular human being, you have to be able to adapt to what this environment of kids is going to bring, right? Because you can't just think that you're going to go in there and wow them with your moves. They have access to YouTube and everything else, and they're being wowed every single day. So how do you capture their attention? So outside of just being passionate, you also have to have the patience and be able to adapt to all the obstacles and challenges that comes with it. And that's why I say you have to truly love it. Yeah. You have to truly love it, because if you don't, you're going to run into some problems yourself.
And patience, when you say patience, it for me makes me think about just our history of Break Free and how far we've come. And we've talked about this on the show, but I agree 1,000%. patience is probably second, third in line after like belief and genuine like love in what you do and conviction. But you have to be patient. You can't expect and you can't compare. Like that's the two ways I would say. You can't compare yourself to anybody else's progress just in life in general. But I think a better way to say it is not expectations but goals.
Yeah,
you know, goals are better than expectations. Don't be like if I by my third year opening this I'm not this and this is bad. You know,
yeah.
Like, no, like set your goals, set little goals, and managing.
And you mentioned the key word. You mentioned belief, and I think you know that's another big key step to moving forward. Excuse me, with your business, because you have to make people believe in what you're doing, right? And in order for you to do that, you have to believe in it yourself first.
And foremost, yeah.
You know, and a lot of people, when they believe in something, it's very temporary. You know what I mean? It's just like if the new year is coming in, it's like you make yourself believe that you're gonna start off fresh and you're gonna do this, and next a month goes by and it's like that belief is gone.
Yeah.
Right?
So you learn that you didn't even really believe it in the first place.
Yeah.
You wanted to. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, and that's
time tells that is like what real belief and what real conviction.
And all that is part of the story, right? So when you start a business, there's a plan, and that plan is our story. So we're going to tell this story with this plan that we're following, and at the same time, you have to continue to telling that story like it's a real one, right? Because the moment any ounce of doubt kind of comes into play,
people will be able to pick up on it.
People will pick up on it like that, and then they're not going to believe.
Yeah.
And then
using us as an example, while we might have made the wrong decisions in the past internally, I think we've always kept, and people know this too.
And we still make bad decisions.
Bad decisions, but I think our general public image has always been positive because we foundation it with like we're gonna learn and we're gonna learn as we grow, but our foundation is like we believe from day one.
And
started with your belief,
and then you can't,
and everyone else
you can't
on board.
beat that.
Yeah.
You cannot beat that. That is truly hard to find.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Break Free successful.
That's why sometimes like if we think back to the years that we struggled, and people still might not know exactly what we mean by struggle.
Yeah.
And I've related it, like I've told people close to me about like the specifics of that struggle and that era that we struggled in, and it blew their minds. Like, wow, I never would have thought that. And it was because, and I think it's because of that. Now that I think about it and I'm thinking out loud, it's like it's because we've always had that belief, and we've always pushed a good public image, and we've never faltered on that, and we knew that we would find a way.
And it takes two or more to do that. So it's not just one person. It's like if you and I are in agreement that, hey, this thing is going to take off one day, and this is going to be this. Yeah. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Right. And so as much as people doubted us, you and I kept believing and have fought through for where we're at today. And so that's the important key right there too, is that you cannot do it alone.
Yep.
So it's like, as much as I believed in it, I had to make you believe in it. And then once you believe in it, you make somebody else believe in it. So that, these are the steps that people have to follow. Now, is it easy to do? No, it's very, very difficult.
Well, it organically happens.
Here's the opportunity is available for everyone, but it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? And it'll organically come together as well too. But that's part of just aligning visions and beliefs. So once you kind of package that together, if your vision is aligned with mine and my belief is aligned with your belief, then we're gonna do good things, right? But the moment we have any type of disconnection there, then we're gonna struggle. We're gonna run into a lot of problems.
Yeah, as has happened.
Yeah,
before,
it has. And that's okay, because if you don't have disagreements, we talked about concerns in the last podcast. If you don't have concerns, then you don't truly care. So it's normal to have concerns. It's normal to have disagreements, right? But if you have a disagreement or something doesn't work out and you disconnect, then it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You can like have a disconnection for a few minutes and figure it out, right?
Yeah, I think on that topic of like building a team and getting people on board with the vision, I think, and if we use the term like organically happening, like think about even just in nature and in the world in general, like think about an ant pile or a beehive. Like it starts with one thing and it builds up, but it takes, like, it doesn't have, it might let's say empire has a queen, like the queen oversees everything, but there's departments and there's things people take care of. So it's like I think people need to put it into perspective where and we still again encounter this today. Like we have our heads down and we're working, and I miss something, and you might miss something that I pick up on, and you know,
vice versa.
There, and, like, blind spots happen, and as we're growing this, we have to learn that people have to focus and be in charge of their own departments and in charge of their own roles and know what they have in front of them, and we disperse that accordingly. And I think that's that happens in the world and in nature, and that's the same thing for a business, the same thing for an organization.
And then moving forward, it's like once you kind of get set up and you kind of understand where you're going, you got to understand if you're a what we consider kind of a product-based business or a customer service-based business, you know. And I remember in the very beginning when we did Break Free, we were so big on like, oh man, we're this, we're that, we're world champions, like people should come, but nobody came.
Yeah.
And
focusing on the product,
focusing on the product, and
we're the product. We need to make sure.
And you know, we were absolutely wrong. Yeah. We're a customer first business. Yeah. You know, where we focus on creating a good experience for the customer. So for the parents and the kids come in, it's not about giving them the best world-class teaching. It's about just giving them a great experience.
It's about the details.
And then and then as soon as they get that great experience, then we can dive in a little deeper and give them the world-class teaching and levels of how we do things and how to experience those levels. But at the same time, you got to be able to establish those things early, because like us, we've made some mistakes along the way, and we'll continue to make them, but it's making the same one that becomes a problem.
It really is in the details, man. That's what I've learned in a lot of things. And going back to the first thing we said about playing to our strengths, like I always related to breaking, and I really love breaking. And going back to the thing we said about belief, like I really believe in breaking and its power and the lessons that it teaches you. So I constantly find myself going back to breaking, and on the topic of details, it's like I truly believe in breaking. It's all about the little details too, the way you place your hands, the way you swing your leg, the way that you're angled, and I think that's the same thing for the experience we provide our customers. It's like how you open the door, it's how you greet them, it's how you talk to them, and that can be applied.
Yeah, that goes a long way.
Yeah, that can be applied to anything. So just circling back everything and all the advice we've given, like that shows how everything connects. Like the belief part, the belief aspect of it, the playing to your strengths, everything, all that comes in together.
And of course, it's easier said than done, but like, for anybody that's watching, like I truly recommend that, like if it's like deep down inside you to do something, like I'm going to be that person to tell you, go do it, go do it, and to live to live with no regrets, because that's how you truly kind of find yourself and figure things out. There's a lot of things I felt like in the past that maybe I could have did better, but at the same time, it needed to happen the way it did for me to truly understand or learn where I'm at, or where I'm going. And so I know a lot of people will tell you kind of that story, and that's how they learned the hard way, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the hard way. Maybe it was the right way for me. I don't know, Maybe it was just the way I had to learn, and that's going to keep happening. And then there's going to be moments in the days where it's like one day you wake up and you're truly inspired, and the next day you wake up and you're like totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that certainly is a trait of, like, let's just say successful people, but also just happy people in general, is people who don't regret so much or dwell on things, and are able to detach and let things go and move on, So that certainly is a trait that I think an entrepreneur should have.
Yeah, there's a lot of different kind of variables that factor into, like, let's just say, for example, my equation of how I do things, I recently said this not too long ago. I was talking to a friend, and he was talking to me about, like, investing and how, like, he wants to do this. And, it's a friend that I know who has, some money set aside, and he's able to do things. And he's like, man, I want to get into this, and I'm scared, when you do business, like, you're not scared to lose money. You're not scared to do this. And the way I look at it is like, man, I lost my mom, my dad. I nearly lost my daughter. I ain't afraid to lose money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you've used your experiences.
And that's here's what I'm trying to say is, like, not to go lose somebody and then be inspired to do something. It's just people look at things differently.
Yeah.
And so it's like, money's a necessity in business. You need it to grow. You need it to scale. You need it to do this. You need it to fund things. You need it for payroll. You need it for all these different things. But at the same time, that's not the number one thing that drives me. What drives me is the opportunity that we create for other people.
Yeah.
Right? That's what drives me. And so at all costs, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that, that the team and what we're doing is taken care of. And you know what? I'm going to encounter some problems along the way, and I have, right? But at the same time, I know that everybody has been taken care of.
Yeah.
And for me, that's very motivating for me, So
and so to translate to advice, you would say you have to find your why, like before.
Yeah, you have to understand why you're doing it. And a lot of people know Break Free as you and I, and then like I'm an owner. I'm the owner of Break Free. But at the same time, how many times have I told you I don't want to be on this? I don't want to do this because I didn't want to put myself in front of like the business. I didn't want to be a face. I didn't want to do this. I wanted the work to be about the work.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be about anybody. I didn't want it to be about Jeremy. I didn't want it to be about Moy. I just wanted it to be about good work and people. And I wanted people to understand that. And a lot of times when people dive into things like, they put themselves first. Yeah. And I think that you're starting off with a bad habit, right? Because we need to put ourselves last. We need to put ourselves last and put the business first. We need to put the team ahead of you. You got to put the customer first. We hear all these different things, but I think early on, the moment you sell yourself for $1 million and you think that you're worth all this, and it's just not the case because passion doesn't convert to dollars in business. I can sell you Break Free all day long and I can tell you it's worth $10 million, but does it convert to that? No, it does not. And that's something that I'm still learning along the way, because I have so much invested, so many years, so much sacrifice, things that people have seen behind closed doors. But at the same time, that doesn't convert to dollars in the business world. It doesn't.
Specifically for the breaking community, and I've heard you say this a lot, and we've been on panels where people ask this question, and I hear you say it like this. It's like, whatever type of status you have in the breaking community doesn't translate to anything valuable outside of it.
No.
Or we use the breaking community as an example, but that could be used for anything. Whatever status or clout you think you have in this certain sector, if you're trying to go into another world and you're trying to extract money from that world or pull money from that world, none of that.
Who are you?
At the end of the, so you have to go back to what we first said and problem solve. Like, if you're going, you're trying to partner up with somebody. What are you bringing to them? What issue and what problem are you helping them with, and what are you helping them solve?
And that's good that you brought that up because when you talk about partnerships in business, let's just say you're coming to me for a partnership, right? Or you want to be sponsored by Break Free, or let's just say Monster or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the number one thing is like, you're gonna pitch your value to me all day long. But at the same time, a partnership is how do we both win? It's not about how you win. And so I feel like a lot of, let's talk about the breaking community. I feel like a lot of breakers may lose deals or partnership or sponsorship opportunities because they're only thinking about themselves, right? Like for me, for example, let's take Monster. When I started working with Monster, it was never about how do I win off this. It's how do I make them understand that I'm valuable to them, but I'm going to show them that they're just as valuable, if not more valuable to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make sure that their needs are taken care of before my needs are met.
Yes.
And that's really, really important. So a partnership is
mutual.
It's mutual, right? It's a mutual benefit to both parties. And so most of the times we're coming in and we're like, but we should get more. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, or they're a multi-million-dollar company. But okay, so if you're looking at it like that, what value do you bring that it's going to make this partnership work?
What I've seen happen specifically is I think people could, like, looking at both sides of it, like, while exploitation does happen, like, that's a big thing I think in the breaking community is like, don't get exploited and know your worth. And like, I think people don't look at both sides of it to where the both sides of it.
That's I hate to say that, but people that throw that out first, they're uneducated. They're uneducated in the business world. But that's the problem is they throw that out first before doing the work. Like, I think that's a great way to end this. Is all that stuff that we said was very about belief and passion and all this, but at the end of the day, you do have to do the work. You have to put in the work, and you have to justify what your value is. Like you said,
So both sides of it is like, yes, exploitation does exist, and that does happen. But you also should go above and beyond for honestly, people you're trying to partner with if you've done the work and if you can back it up. So that's both sides of it. You have to also look at both sides.
Let me tell you why exploitation exists. Exploitation exists because we make it exist. Yeah. Because we don't know how to come into a partner. The only way we know how to come into a partner or sponsorship opportunity is by throwing our value, and then that's all we know. Right? And then the moment we get the opportunity is like, we have the opportunity already. So you just sit back at home and do nothing while this company just does everything for you. And then you're going to feel like they're taking advantage of you, but you're not stepping up and showcasing what more you can do.
Yeah, definitely a lot of situations where they do it to themselves.
Yeah. I honestly, I would say 7 out of 10 times that other person is doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because while there is probably some instances that can be cited where there is some really malicious or bad intents from companies or something like that, there might be the case, but there definitely is.
And now let's take this angle, for example. Let's just say that it is malicious and someone is doing it, but the guy who it's being done to, they're still collecting a check. And you know what? They have the opportunity to step up and say, hey, this is not right. I don't want to do this no more. But they're scared to do that because they don't want to lose the check. Right? Yeah. But it's easier for you.
They get themselves into that trap.
You're trapping yourself, you know? And so, it's important to know all these things, and also to understand that, like, we can have as much control or power or to emphasize what is right by the work that we do. And that's why I always say, like, the work is what matters. It's not what you think that you're worth right now, but make your work worth it
to be able to justify.
Your work has to justify the value of what you're bringing. Because again, your thoughts and your opinions does not convert to their marketing budget. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. It might be a small percentage of it, right? But later on, you can convert that passion into dollars, because it comes with work, it comes with loyalty, it comes with commitment, it comes with years of being dedicated to a company when you were making less and they understood that. But so a lot of that will factor in later on. It will, trust me.
Later on, that's the key.
Later on.
First work.
So
I think it's about defining the work and then doing it.
This world, they want everything so fast, right there, right now. TikTok. Wait, have you guys followed me on TikTok yet? You better follow me on TikTok. I just started 2 weeks ago. Anyways, but yeah, you can't. I have a habit of doing this. Leave it alone. It's not a good thing. Anyways, you just gotta just work hard, man, and make it happen. And how many times do you hear people say that? Probably more than you can even imagine. But at the same time, it's just the honest truth. There's no other way to put it.
I think going back specifically to our community, the breaking community, there certainly is a lot of people who crave for this type of advice, and you can relate. Like, how many times a week or day do you get a message from people asking advice on this? Because you're certainly a figure.
All the time.
So
all the time.
I think there's a lot of people in our community who want this type of information, and I think at the end of the day, even on a general level, everyone just wants to do what they love for a living. Everybody would love to do that.
I'm gonna say this because I was talking to Zeku the other night, 2 nights ago. And I brought up something to him because you bring up a good point. A lot of people reach out to me for advice, or how can they do this, or how can they do that, or what do I recommend, maybe for recommendation. But at the same time, I don't have enough people hit me up and say, hey, Mo, you good? Is there anything you need? And that's important for us, because even yourself, someone, people that are leaders within a company or within a group of people, or let's just say a subculture, right? And people look at you a certain way. Just because we're leaders doesn't mean we have all the answers, or doesn't mean that we're not having bad days. We need the accountability just like everybody else. So as much, I would say 9 out of 10 people will hit me up about advice or recommendation or something like that. But on the, it's very low that someone will reach out to me and just say, hey, man, how's it going? You all right?
Yeah,
cool. I was just thinking about you, man. Just making sure you're good.
Yeah.
I never get that.
I think that can be, for what we were talking about before, I think that could be used as an example for, like, the mutual relationship and how things can benefit one another. You don't want to just take, expect. Like you got to, and that also is an example of the little things that matter, the details that matter, you know? So like if you have a partner or if you have a coworker, like not just making it the scale tip to the side of like expecting and taking, but like, how you doing? Like, can I help you?
That's my point.
Can I go above and beyond? Can I take the initiative to do this? Like, a lot of people miss that for sure.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just trying to read some of these questions.
Shout out to Michelle Oliveira, Enrique, Heavy Duty 25. We have a question that says, should you take out a small business loan?
I mean,
depends.
Yeah, if you need to. I mean, that's kind of a vague question, but if you think that it's needed for the business, then you got to do what you got to do at all costs.
Yeah, it all depends on the situation and the context for sure.
Yeah.
And then shout out to our sponsors, Houston Media Source, Monster Energy, Kelly and Roxanne, our sponsors.
Big sponsors.
And Life in general. Life is your biggest
sponsor.
Shout
out to MVP.
Shout out to MVP. If you want to see an episode featuring MVP, we need y'all to blow up the comments, and we can make that happen if the demand is there. I think people want to see the face behind it. So.
Yo, keep telling people, I'm over here, keep telling people about the podcast. We want to grow it every week, and we want to have different topics to talk about, whether it's business, things to do with the breaking community or growth or anything. So just, share those topics with us, whether it's through a DM on Instagram, an email at info@breakfreeworldwide.com. But I think your topics are important, and we want to be able to share our experiences, not saying that we know everything, but through experience, we're able to share what we know. And so
we know a lot.
A
lot. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Tuesday.
And
sometimes 2:30 if we have technical issues.
And we have a lot of big developments coming up, and I think you guys are going to start to see a lot of movement happen. We've been doing making a lot of moves the past year, but we have a lot of great things coming up. The anniversary weekend is one specific thing.
Let me give you the dates for that. That's July 10th through the 12th right here in Houston. So we have a big weekend planned, and we got great partners, IBE, Battle of the Year. So
shout out to them.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of
Monster, of course,
good stuff with them. And so make sure you save the dates, July 10th through 12th right here in Houston.
What is the battles, just so people know?
So we're gonna have a one-on-one competition. We're also gonna be doing a one-on-one B-girl as part of the Battle of the Year qualifier.
Winner goes to Battle of the Year.
Winner goes to Battle of the Year. The same thing for the one-on-one, and then the winner of the one-on-one also gets a trip to IBE as well as Battle of the Year World Finals.
Wow, yeah.
And then we got the crew competition, the USA World Qualifier. So you're going to be able, if you win that, then the team goes to the World Finals at Battle of the Year. So to represent USA.
Crazy.
So a lot of great opportunities. Yeah.
Plus more to be announced.
For sure.
Yeah. So much love. Thank you for tuning in. Every Tuesday, 2 p.m. This is Moy and Jeremy signing out. Much love.
Peace.
Have you ever wanted to have your own TV show? We can make that happen at Houston Media Source. When you walk in the door, all you need is an idea. We have everything you need. Studios, cameras, lights, microphones, and more. All professional quality and state-of-the-art. Get started by attending one of our free orientation sessions every Monday at 6 p.m. at our studios at 410 Roberts near Minute Maid Park. Get more information online at hmstv.org. Make your voice heard with Houston Media Source.